evening, and welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. I'm Stacy Johnson. Joining me tonight is Aguna, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent thinker, and my late cousin. Oh, here it is, my cousin Todd. He's not late after all. I thought he was
Thank
late
goodness
like
it's not the late cousin Todd.
Was it winter over
No.
there or something? I mean, what's he wearing all this?
Okay,
Is it
excuse
hot?
me, I'm still doing the intro.
Oh,
The Olympics are over. Yeah, thank you. We're still introing the show. Thank you. The Olympics are over, but according to Todd, the Obamas have won the gold medal at the DNC. Ukraine launches a drone attack on Moscow, and by the numbers, Aaron Judge is the fastest to 300 home runs in Major League Baseball history. Former President Trump's his comments on veterans, has sparked controversy. Again, he has a history of making controversial comments about veterans, receiving backlash during both his 2016 and his 2020 campaigns. College football, it's here. We'll try to talk about it. Preseason, All-American teams in college football, and the primaries were yesterday. Congressman Gatz scores big win over what McCarthy thought would be his contestant or person who ran. 5 takeaways from the primaries. We'll talk about that tonight. Secretary of State Antony Blinken wraps up his Mideast trip with the Gaza deal is still not done. And Stephen with NASCAR, last but definitely not least. First up, Stephen with NASCAR. What's going on with NASCAR, Stephen?
Well, there was a great race this weekend, and it's a place that holds special in my heart. It was the Richmond race this year, and it was incredible. It was some of the best racing I've seen at Richmond for years and years. The whole thing has been, oh, it's a Richmond race. It's going to be follow the leader. It's not going to be a whole lot of excitement. This race was nothing but excitement. One thing it had was NASCAR tries so hard not to have any huge accidents. They want to keep these guys alive and well for the next race. But in this particular race, Corey LaJoie had the biggest flip, the biggest accident that has happened so far in NASCAR, and they do not want that. They don't want this. They've spent like $1 billion for safety, but this car went flying and flipped over. And when it did, at one point it rolled on its top for a while. And you can see underneath with these new cars, these next generation cars, it's just like a Matchbox car. If you just take it and push it across the table upside down, it's just flat like this. And that's what this looks like. It doesn't even look like a real car because they've changed everything so much, and all of it's for safety. And thank God he got out and he's okay. He's probably going to race this week at Daytona. But the racing was great. And my guy, Tyler Riddick, who is teammates with Bubba Wallace, he somehow miraculously won this race, which was incredible for me because, of course, I had him in a pool. I had him in a couple extra bets. And he just shined all of that onto me. I was so glad for him to win. And he is deserving. He's a good guy. And he's pulling the team along. And speaking of Bubba can win Daytona. That's coming up this week. If he wins Daytona, he has a shot to make it in the playoffs. And if you do not make the playoffs, it's a really bad year for you. The rest of the last 10 races of the year are playoffs. If you're not in the playoffs, it's got to just be a very hurtful thing to go through. So looking forward to this race. It's a Daytona 400, not the 500. It's less laps. So that's another advantage of Bubba because he's really good at these tracks. So is Tyler Reddick, and so is his boss, Denny Hamlin. So it's going to be a really nice weekend, a good time for Daytona. I'm assuming the weather's going to be good. This was another race this year where they did 58 laps on Sunday. The rest got rained out. They had to do it on Monday. Guess we couldn't see it and had to work? Me, because they restarted the race at 11 o'clock, which was a real drag. But it's really old school to be able to listen to the race on the radio but it's bad when you're driving on the road because it makes you want to go so much faster because they're just screaming and excited the whole time. So I'm on a highway. I'm doing 75 and I don't even know it, or 85 or something.
Okay.
So
Thank you,
yeah, it
Stephen.
was
I
really
must
good,
say
really
that.
good race.
Thank you, Stephen. One of our viewers said, "Stephen, behave yourself for the show." I just wanted to tell you that.
I will do the
My
very best I
godmother. She
can.
said, "Tell Stephen to behave himself now for the show."
Oh,
Isn't your godmother the one that likes me?
Yes,
Okay.
they're already
So
on
yeah,
you.
she's my one fan. She's looking out for me. See, she's not saying that to be derogatory. She's really saying, say, Steven, be cool, be cool. And all that.
right, right,
She's cool.
right,
Yeah, I appreciate her.
right.
Tell her I said hello. Oh,
Alrighty.
hello.
Todd,
So,
you can't. Todd's speaking, but we can't hear him.
he's on mute.
Oh,
He's
he's
on
on
mute,
mute.
and who cares?
Keep him
So,
on mute for the rest of the show.
do anybody want to talk about college football, or you want to wait until Guna comes on to talk about college football, and we'll start with preseason with the NFL? Stephen, do you want to start with preseason with the NFL and
Yeah,
what your Washington Commanders are doing?
well, I'm optimistic, but I'm cautiously optimistic. We do have a great quarterback that can come here and do anything. But I looked at our schedule; it looks
And who's
pretty
your
tough.
quarterback?
I can't even think. We just picked him up. I can't even think of his name. I don't know.
That's not good.
No. I haven't watched one game. I haven't had watched
I
one
haven't
single.
watched any games either.
No. So yeah, so I'm not into. I know we have a. He was picked second. It doesn't matter to me what his name is, what his number is. It's what he does on the field, what his actions are, and he's very, very good. He's the best quarterback we've had in a long time. But being that it's a rookie, you don't really know what you have, and you don't know how he's gonna react. And because I wait till the last week, until this next week coming up, and then I start getting into it. And I really should get into it before then, but it'll wear me out before the year gets here. So I'm taking it slow. And what I've seen is
I know.
we may win 6 games. We may win 6 just based on our schedule. It's just really tough for a last place team. I think we were. It's really tough, and if everything comes together, we could win 8 or 9 games very optimistically. I have us winning about 6 games, but we have a good team. We have a new ownership, new coaches. We have everything going on for us.
So you got rid of Dan Snyder. I mean, we didn't talk
Yeah.
about that. You want to
So
talk about them getting
everything.
rid of Dan Snyder and why,
Yeah.
and how he finally left?
Well, he sold the team. He made an offer he couldn't refuse, and
He made an
he
offer. He accepted an offer he couldn't refuse.
yeah. He I guess he could have stayed there as long as he wanted or something, but it just wasn't politically working out for him anymore. He had to get out, and he's I think he's a little bit younger than me, so he's just gonna enjoy his life. I think he has 18 yachts he can choose from and 15 houses. He's not hurting, but he has held, I believe, the Washington Redskins Commanders down. I think he's held us down worse than we should have been. We have better ownership. We have better people that are going to communicate better all the way around in every different section. That's why I am cautiously optimistic. It is a new dawn. It's a new day, and I know we're going to be better than the Giants. We're probably going to be better than the Cowboys because I think CeeDee Lamb is going to be. We'll probably sit down, or maybe Dak, because he's not going to be happy. They're going to have internal issues. Our only teams we have to worry about is the Eagles, of course. And that's going to be exciting. I think it's going to be a really great year between us two to see who can win the division. And if things just fall right, if this quarterback is as good as they claim he is, and what we've seen in college, and he can keep it continuous, then it's going to be really competitive between your team and mine, Stacy.
For the NFC East. So let's talk real quick.
Yes.
Let's look at the schedule you see on the screen. We have NFL still the preseason. I haven't watched any games because people are still trying out for the
Yeah.
team. They're still making roster changes. They're still, they're just like, trying to turn the car on and see what's going on with it. So I haven't really watched any games, although I heard we did pretty good. And we are going to do a game in September in Brazil, South America, and that's going to be pretty hot. But
Wow.
if you look at the schedule, you have the Colts and the Bengals coming on tomorrow, the Chiefs and the Bears, the Jaguars and the Falcons on Friday, and the Dolphins and the Buccaneers on Friday. 2 games at Friday, same time. on Friday. Oh, a little bit later, you have the 49ers and the Raiders. And then Saturday, the Eagles and the Minnesota Vikings at 1 p.m.
So, Stacey, are you saying that the Eagles are going to Brazil?
Yes, the Eagles are going to Brazil.
Well, you know who else is going to be going?
Who?
Aguna.
I don't think so.
You don't think? It just
I
seems
think
like
he told
something
me
he
when
would
I
do.
found out about it. When I found out about it, we're going to open our season opener is going to be in Brazil. When
Wow.
I found out about it, I asked Aguna if he was going, and he said no. And guess who we are playing? I'm going to ask Todd. Guess who we're playing, Todd? We can't hear you, Todd.
I know. I was thinking we're either going to be playing the Lions, the Tigers, or the Bears.
You're close. Lions, Bengals, or Bears? Is he right, Stacey? One of the three?
Playing. Eagles will open the 2024 season. You see that? In Brazil against who, Steven?
Oh, the Packers.
Oh,
that's going to be a great game.
In Brazil.
That's going to be a great game. Oh, wow. That's a heck of a way to start the year. Where do they come back? Would they come back from Brazil and have to play at home the next week, Stacey?
Yes. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know about that.
Probably not.
I'm putting my money on the Red Sox.
Oh, yeah. Or the Yankees.
Yeah, we know you are.
So
that's
going to be a great game.
That's going to be a great game. I can't wait to watch it at home. I would love to go to Brazil to see it, but COVID is still very, very prevalent in Brazil. To get down to Sao Paulo, Brazil is like what? That's a flight that's about 8 hours.
Yeah, that's tough.
Nah, I don't think so. I'll watch it from home. So, anything else with the NFL before? Oh, any fantasy? You want to talk fantasy football, Steven?
Fantasy.
Well, like I said earlier, CD Lamb is supposed to be the best, the best receiver and the first pick receiver you should have.
What?
But CD Lamb is supposed to be. You have everybody.
I don't know.
CD Lamb is a receiver for the Cowboys, and everybody thinks he should be the first pick.
Well, never mind.
That he should be the first pick overall, but behind the scenes, he's having a really hard time with getting along, and he wants more money. So he could sit out. So that would be a big miss on your part. Plus, Christian McCaffrey, who plays for the 49ers, he's been so great for the last few years. He's getting a little bit older. He's getting a little bit more. He's had injuries in the past, but the big thing is he's on the cover of Madden. And there's been a Madden curse since, I don't know, the 90s that people look at. And somebody will get a broken leg. Somebody will get hurt some other way. Or something will happen. They'll wreck their car. It's a Madden curse. So stay away from CD Lamb with the Cowboys. Stay away from McCaffrey.
Okay.
And as far as quarterbacks go, I think Jalen Hurts might be number one. He was a little bit lagging last year, a little bit.
That's superstitious what you're saying, Steven. That's as silly as saying he's got to be careful because they might get knocked up or something like that.
No, but the thing of it is, generally something happens to the people who are on Madden. That something happens. Like Brady was on one year, got his leg broke or something. You can look through the years. It's not every year, but it's a little superstitious. But that's in sports, superstition and sports go together.
So I just wanted to show you. If you look at the screen, you asked me where will the Eagles play when they come back from Brazil. They'll be playing in Philadelphia at home against the Atlanta Falcons. That's Nas's team from the Dirty South, and the Eagles will probably beat them. The Dirty Birds from the South, not the Dirty South. The Dirty Birds from the South.
Atlanta's got a team this year. Plus, you have a quarterback much better than what they had last year. They got Kirk Cousins.
They still have to gel. They've still got to gel. They don't stand a chance.
This could be a good game. Yeah, I think y'all would win, but I think it's going to be close. They've got some good players, and it's not too cold in Philly, so they won't be too bad being an indoor team. That's another good game. So yeah, y'all have two good games in a row that you probably should win both.
Yeah, we already won we played the Baltimore Ravens and the New England Patriots. We won both games, but it's preseason. Who cares? And then we have to play. Who do we play next? I forgot. We play somebody Saturday. Who do we play on Saturday? We play
Probably.
Minnesota Vikings.
Let me check. Oh,
The Minnesota Vikings.
All right.
Oh,
Don't worry, you
that's
know.
easy. Minnesota's doesn't have anything.
They used to be very, very powerful
Who's their quarterback?
back in the day.
I don't know.
You know,
Let's move
Minshew.
on to
Minshew's going to be
Aaron
in at the
Judge.
Raiders. Oh yeah.
All right, so Aaron Judge is the fastest to 300 home runs in Major League Baseball history.
Amazing. Post steroid era too.
Set a record. So that's the thing. Judge reached a milestone in an astonishing 955 games, or 132 games fewer than the previous record holder, Ralph Kenner. So my question is, how could he do that without steroids?
He's in good shape. Maybe he's in
because the pitchers were using steroids too. Everybody's using steroids then. Now that they've curtailed it a lot, nobody's using them as much. I think that has something to do with plus the way that they changed the rules for pitchers. They don't get to relax and chill as much as they did because they're trying to speed up the game, and that has something to do with it too. Because the pitchers got a time clock on them from one pitch to the next, and that might help him get a little bit of an advantage of him. But I take nothing away from him. That is awesome. No matter what, that is great. So no, I'm not taking anything. I'm just saying it might be a few factors here and there that change it. With like the rules is pretty huge, and the pitchers are still getting used to that.
So I think it was pretty good. Congratulations to Aaron Judge.
Yeah,
Great.
congratulations.
I wish he was playing for the Phillies. It's not happening. It's not happening. Let us move. Anything else with sports? College football. I love college football. I love college football.
I used to.
Are you feeling better about Alabama now that they don't have their
I
coach?
never cared about Alabama.
No, I mean going against Alabama. Aren't you Auburn?
Yeah, I'm Auburn.
Right. I mean, don't you feel better that Alabama might be a little bit slightly worse now that they lost a coach? Or are they?
Yeah, well, Alabama has been slightly worse for the last year or two, ever since
Nick Saban left.
Nick Saban left. Ever since he
Right.
left, they've kind of, they're trying to get back. They're trying to juggle and get back to where they used to be. I don't know if they ever will be again. What do you think with Nick Saban gone?
It's really hard because it all comes down to recruiting. And if Saban's not going to some kid's house, it's not as impressive. That's real impressive to have him and all the things that he has done. They still got a really solid organization. And some people are picking them only to lose one game this year, which is
I don't know about that.
I know, but some experts are picking them to win. I mean, only to lose one game, but you just can't tell. It's going to be good. How's Auburn going to do?
They've just been doing fair. They didn't do that great last year. They've just been doing fair.
Yeah.
Hopefully this year they'll get back on the ball. Since they kind of went downhill, honestly, I just stopped watching.
We'll see. LSU is not going to be as good.
Now the season started.
But LSU is not going to be as good because we have their quarterback. So this guy's a phenom. The Washington team. So we have their quarterback.
LSU hasn't been good since Bergeron, what's his name, left. I really think LSU hasn't been tight since he retired.
But they're going to be worse. Coach? Yeah. But see, coaching really matters in college a lot more than the pros. Because by the pros, you don't need much coaching when you're a pro.
Well, you need much coaching, but it's just, it makes a difference in college ball more so than professional ball.
Right.
So,
a lot of high energy in the college.
Yeah,
So
there's
you
high
used to
energy.
like it, Keith? You used to like college, but you don't anymore
Yes. Oh yeah.
because they're all professionals
Oh,
now?
I like college. I used to like college and pro, but like I
Hmm.
said, the demoralization of everything, I guess, is just
So
kind of
it's Ed.
concerning.
It's Ed. His name was Ed Ogeron. I thought I had it right a little bit. He was
Hmm.
there from 2016 to 2021. Did a really good job with the LSU Tigers. Then they brought in Brad Davis and Brian Kelly. So Brian Kelly's there now since 2022. We'll see what he has. But if you look at the screen for college football, everyone's equal now. No one's
Hmm.
played. Everyone is pretty much
Hmm.
in all the conferences. We're starting off a clean slate. Can't wait to see which way they go. Welcome to Sporlitiks, where sports and politics mix and mingle. Nunya. Nunya, the dirty birds of the South. The Falcons will be playing the Eagles, Nunya, when the Eagles return from Brazil. Nunya, you're on mute, Nunya.
Well, I'll speak for him. It's none of your
Okay, go
business.
ahead.
No, Atlanta
Come
should be
on,
really
Nas.
good.
Come on.
Atlanta's going to be competitive. They're going to be a really good team because everything's going to gel. Having Kirk Cousins is a huge step up for them. A huge
We'll
step
see.
up. Oh yeah, I mean, he's a pro. He might not get you a Super Bowl, but he's going to win you a bunch of games. He's a pro. He's top
Yeah, they're
10.
not going to get a Super Bowl.
Not only they have a lot of good players weren't exposed to be as to show how good they are because they didn't have the quarterback back there. Now these great players like with Bijan Robinson and whoever else they have, they're gonna shine a lot more because they got a precision guy back there that is really tight. And I have a affinity for him, of course, because he was with Washington and he did
Right.
great for us. He did great for Minnesota, and he's gonna do great things for Atlanta. Plus, they have new coaching all around, I do believe, offensive and defensive. I'm not 100%, but I know it's offensive. They took the one guy out of there, but they're going to be really tough. They're going to be someone to contend to.
Somebody to
Atlanta.
watch.
I'm looking at Atlanta.
All right. So we're going to move on to politics. Take a listen to what Todd thought was a gold medal performance.
Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama providing a major political 1-2 punch overnight at the DNC.
I'm feeling fired up.
America, hope is making a comeback.
Starting with Michelle Obama electrifying the delegates.
Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right. To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy, for the values at the very foundation of this democracy.
And delivering a takedown of former President Trump, referencing the racist conspiracy theory Mr. Trump pushed for years against her husband.
Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black. Who's going to tell him that the job he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs?
Mr. Obama following his wife.
I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama.
Anointing Harris as a successor to the movement he began in 2008.
This convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible.
While delivering his own attacks against Mr. Trump.
The people who will decide this election are asking a very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future? Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question. Here's a 78-year-old billionaire who has not stopped whining about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
Okay, I want to stop right there. Cousin Todd.
Mhm.
They said he made some sort of comment to say weird obsession with crowd sizes and moving his hands like that. What was he talking about?
Crowd sizes. That's what he was talking about. And he is obsessed, Donald Trump, I'm talking about, with crowd sizes. As we knew when he first got elected, well, I don't know if I should say he got elected because there was fraud, according to him. When he first got elected, he said there was fraud until he found out he won. Then they said, was it still fraud? He said, no fraud. And
Okay,
so
I'll keep going. You
and
can't,
so anyway, I just answered your question, crowd size, and he talks about that. He's obsessed with it. Last time I heard him talk about crowd size, he said he had a bigger crowd than Martin Luther King Jr. That's what he said.
Yeah, but they didn't miss Martin Luther King Jr., did they?
What?
Like they missed Trump.
What do
They
you?
didn't miss him. They missed Trump. It's the same group of people that killed King. That killed King. It's the same group of people. Same
Oh,
group of people that killed King wanted to kill Trump.
This raggedy redneck. Y'all have a good night, man.
See you later.
No, don't leave.
No, you
wait a
won't.
minute, Nanya.
Especially if I don't see you first.
We don't ever see you anyway. So I ain't gonna see you later.
Bastard.
Okay,
Shut
wait a
up.
minute.
All right.
Nanya, I was asking you. You
Now,
must
see,
not have
Keith
heard me.
got on
I was
his court clothes.
Nanya. I was asking you about the dirty birds of the South, and you didn't answer me.
Oh, well, the dirty birds of the South right there. That dirty, raggedy, red-faced, air conditioning
No, I'm talking
mechanic
about the
right there.
Falcons.
That's who the dirty bird is. Him right there. Look at it.
I'm talking about
The
the
same people
Falcons
who tried to kill
versus.
Ugliest men on the earth, right there.
We don't know what you look
Talking
like.
about the Falcons
We don't know what you
versus.
look like.
Excuse me.
We don't know
I'm
what
talking
you
about the
look
Falcons
like.
versus the
Because you a
Eagles.
punk.
Drink some
And
Pabst Blue Ribbon.
Because you a
Sit your
punk.
country ass
Okay,
down.
stop.
You red-faced.
Because you a
baboon.
punk.
Don't start, guys. Don't start.
Boy,
I'm not starting.
Okay,
I'm not
I didn't say anything.
starting. I'm not starting. Shut up.
Nanya, please. I'm going back to the Eagles and the Falcons. And actually, Steven said that the Falcons would give the Eagles a run for their money because they have a pretty good team this season. You want to comment on that?
Man, he don't know about food. He just know about NASCAR, man. Don't be listening to that dude.
I'm very
He
good
was
at
giving your
football.
team. He was giving your team a compliment.
I was giving you props.
I don't want nothing from him. Nothing at all.
I wasn't
Man,
giving
you
it to
sound
you.
like
I was
Beto.
giving the Atlanta Falcons. I didn't give you
don't
nothing.
care what you was giving anybody. Shut up.
You sound so ghetto talking about got
He
the
doesn't. He sounds like he
You have
tries
on
to be
undershirt?
ghetto. He sounds like he
have on
tries to be
undershirt?
ghetto. If he had a confrontation, he'd piss his pants. If he had a real confrontation, he'd piss his pants.
Go put a t-shirt on, okay?
so
Do
ghetto.
you have
Okay.
one of
Hey,
those?
go put some clothes on.
Everyone stop. Everyone
You're
stop.
probably
Okay.
naked.
Hey, stop, please. We're going to move on. We're going to move on. The Obamas. Let me play the video, please. And I want Nanya, please comment, and then we'll get everyone else. I'll start again from here.
Political 1-2 punch overnight at the DNC.
I'm feeling fired up.
America, hope is making a comeback.
Starting with Michelle Obama electrifying the delegates.
Michelle Obama is asking you, no, I'm telling y'all to do something. This is our time to stand up for what we know in our hearts is right. To stand up, not just for our basic freedoms, but for decency and humanity, for basic respect, dignity, and empathy, for the values at the very foundation of this democracy.
And delivering a takedown of former President Trump, referencing the racist conspiracy theory Mr. Trump pushed for years against her husband.
Donald Trump did everything in his power to try to make people fear us. See, his limited, narrow view of the world made him feel threatened by the existence of two hardworking, highly educated, successful people who happen to be Black.
Okay,
Who's
Nanya,
going to tell
your
him? Why
comments
you
on that,
stop it right there?
because I wanted Nanya's comments on her comments so far.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise to anybody. I mean, they blew the house down. That's what was expected. The expectations were high, and they met them. He's going to be really valuable on the campaign trail for the rest of this whole cycle. As far as Obama, I'm sure they're lining him up for certain dates, especially swing state. But yeah, a lot of people were playing this audio and sharing it across social media last night, and I think people ultimately want to return to normalcy. They want to get rid of the tribalism, the hatred, the bigotry, the racism that's all tied up into that MAGA movement. And ultimately, this election cycle puts it into the dirt. So, yeah.
Keith, let me ask you, how do you feel about what she said? Do you think that the former president kept trying to do the things that she accused him of? Keith,
On mute.
we can't hear you.
First of all, to call this normal after 4 years of Biden, I mean, that must mean that they don't really want to change what they already have, and yet they're not doing anything for the past 4 years. Secondly, I want to say hope. She talks about hope, making a comeback. She talks about decency, respect, dignity, basic values of our foundation of democracy. The basic foundation of our democracy. First of all, if she's as educated as she had indicated, she and her husband, they would know that this is not a democracy. We're founded as a republic, constitutional republic. That's what we are supposed to be. So I don't know how educated she is, or well, obviously she's.
Well, you just showed your lack of education.
And so there it is, right there. That's her lack. That shows her lack of education.
So
You know,
let
decency.
me,
Wait a minute. One more thing. Decency.
I'm gonna
Okay,
keep playing.
those points that she said: decency, respect, dignity. All of that, and yet she means she believes in abortion. Is that decency? Is that dignity? When you kill the life of an unborn child. What about all of those other things?
Yes.
Gender
Yes.
mutilation.
That is dignity.
When you transgender, when you
have
mutilize them, they will be sterile for the rest of their lives.
That's what they want.
Okay, thank you. Let me keep playing this.
You still got time to put
tell
a
him that the
t-shirt
job
on.
he's currently seeking might just be one of those Black jobs.
Okay, so Stephen, what does she mean by one of those Black jobs?
She's got nothing else to say. It's all about Donald Trump. It's all about race. This is what Obama did before he got in office, before it's his first term. That all they do is use race. They use it to divide people. They use it to piss people off. They use it. Donald Trump showed no signs of anything they said. His whole presidency, he never did anything. He never did anything to hurt Black people. In fact, he did more for Black people in 4 years than Obama did in 8 years. Obama don't give two damns about a Black person, never has. But they get on there and use their race because that's what Marxists do, because they have nothing else. They can't say nothing about themselves or nothing about Kamala or nothing about the Democrat Party. All you do, Todd, and all they do and all the media does is talk about Trump because you got nothing else to talk about. And it's lame. Let me help y'all. It's lame. Everybody's tired of, even Democrats I know are tired of you. Thank you, Stacey.
Okay, let me take it on.
Mr. Obama following his wife.
I am the only person stupid enough to speak after Michelle Obama.
Anointing Harris as a successor to the movement he began in 2008.
This convention has always been pretty good to kids with funny names who believe in a country where anything is possible.
While delivering his Lady Michelle Obama, providing a...
I'm going to stop there because I want to talk about how he said that the DNC convention is good to people who have funny names. What did he mean
Okay.
by that, Cousin Todd?
Of course, you picked the silliest thing to talk about. So, and I'm not going to waste my little 3 seconds, which is all you give me, yet you give Stephen an hour. I'm going to go back to what Stephen was talking about when he talked about Trump doesn't talk about race. He didn't do nothing. Trump was the first one to start this birther movement against Barack Obama, that he was not an American, so therefore he was an illegitimate president, blah, 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 which was ridiculous because...
What does it have to do with his race? He could have
Shut
been
up.
from
Stephen,
Yugoslavia.
Shut up.
Stephen, we're
Nothing
talking
to do
one
with
at a
his
time,
race.
okay?
That's so
Shut up.
You gotta
stupid.
let him
That's just
finish, just like he
stupid.
let
It's
Look
not.
at this red-faced
just like he
lobster.
let you finish,
It's
Stephen.
it's not
He let you
racist. Thank
finish,
you.
Stephen. You
It's
can't do
not
it.
racist. Shut up.
And so he accused him of being a Muslim. That wasn't racist either. He didn't accuse him of being a Catholic. Nevertheless, he uses these racist tropes to put fear in white people, which Michelle Obama was talking about. And so those tricks didn't work. Now he's using the same tricks on Kamala. Talking about she wasn't black. She just now turned black yesterday. Well, no, she was black all of her life. Her father is black and her mother is an Indian. So therefore, she's super duper
South
black.
Asian. Okay, thank you, South Asian.
And
We got
so
comments from You Gotta Love YouTube. It says, but it's okay when Trump does it, shaking my head. And here Keith goes screaming. No, meant Stephen. Here Stephen goes screaming. Let me go back to playing this because I like to. What I'm trying to do is hear what people, what their comments are and how they're taking the former president and first lady and what they have to say.
What do they
So
say
let's
about
listen to this.
Keith?
Very simple question. Who will fight for me? Who's thinking about my future? Donald Trump is not losing sleep over that question.
Okay, so let's take that question. I want to take that question, Keith. Keith,
Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you think Donald Trump will fight specifically for you?
Yes, I
and
do.
how?
His best interest is in the country. First of all, that border, that southern border. I live in California, a border state.
How's he
They
going to
come
fight
across
for
there.
you?
Well, let me
Just tell
tell
me how
you,
he's going to fight for you.
he's going to fight for me by going back to his original policies, which are leave them in Mexico, the asylums, and not to let them free out of the country. He's going to arrest and seize and send back those who are
And that's
illegal.
going to help your life.
We are in California.
Yes.
This is a border state. It'll help blacks. It'll help me.
Everybody.
It'll help
How?
you.
How? How?
It'll-
How?
how-
How? How?
well,
How?
they
How?
will-
How?
Nobody's
First of all,
stopping that
there will not
monster
be-
from running his
There will
mouth.
not the crimes that are committed by illegal aliens will not be committed because they won't be here. So let the
Okay.
crimes be
Stephen,
done
And
by
the and the state
Thank you, Keith.
crime.
Stephen, how
And-
will former President Trump specifically help you?
tagging on with Keith, he'll help us. Doesn't have to be specifically. They will get these people out of these states, and the states won't have to put so much money into them, and our federal government will not take our taxes and give all these people so much money and free living to be here. That's how it helps all of us. Specifically, Donald Trump will help everybody, but it's not specifically. Overall,
Okay.
it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what you got between your legs. It doesn't matter what you like in your face. None of that matters. All that crap that y'all bring does not matter. None of it matters. What matters was when Donald Trump was president, this country was a better place for everybody. When that little son of a bitch was president, the country sucked. Because he brought back racism. He brought racism to this country,
Who
and
did?
we didn't need that.
Who you talking
Everybody
about?
was getting along before this
Who
little
you
son of
talking
a.
about?
You're
Who are you talking
Obama.
about?
Obama started all of
he's
that
on
racism
Obama.
garbage, and that's all they could talk about because that's what they do.
Okay, thank
They
you.
love
Thank
racism.
you.
Okay.
Him and his
Okay.
Thank you.
woman.
Okay.
All they can do
Okay.
is be
Get
racist.
him off.
Thank
They're
you.
the ones.
Get him
They
off.
hurt you,
Get him
Todd.
off.
Todd, they
Mute
hurt
him.
you.
Mute
They
him. Mute him. Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Now you, Stacey, telling me, okay, you got to stop. You got to wrap it up. But you let this idiot move on and on. And you are ridiculous. It's not him. It's you.
No.
So, now let me talk about Stephen. Obama started this racist stuff. Obama started the racism?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
thought slavery had something to do with that.
Slavery wasn't racist.
oh, okay. And
No,
Yeah,
so
remember, don't ask him questions.
I will not.
he
I
didn't.
will not. So anyway, that kind of stupidity is exactly what Donald Trump loves. And this is how he knows he's got Stephen and Keith in his back pocket.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Stacey, for all of us.
What Stephen didn't want to say is Project 2025 will stop reducing drug prices like the Democrats are doing, like Stephen wants to happen for him. Aren't you on blood thinners? And you said, I want him to reduce those prices.
I'm going to tell everybody what you're on.
Okay. And so you said you want him to reduce those prices. The Republicans are not doing that.
They're not going to stop that. And Project 25 is not Donald Trump. It's another group. Donald Trump separated himself from that. Donald Trump has his own agenda.
Shut
Stephen,
up.
you gotta let him finish. And
All right.
we can't go on the whole show.
Yes, I
Yeah,
can.
our ears are
Yes,
bleeding.
Look. Yes, I
That's
can.
from the heroin, boy. Get off the drugs.
All right, hot face.
No.
Here's a 78-year-old
Dare
billionaire
you allowed him
who
to
has
talk
not
over
stopped
me and then
whining
move.
about his problems since he rode down his golden escalator 9 years ago. There's the childish nicknames, the crazy conspiracy theories, this weird obsession with crowd sizes.
The Obama speech is following a heartfelt address from the vice president's husband, Doug Emhoff, discussing what he called their blended family and describing his first awkward phone call to Harris.
I got Kamala's voicemail and I just started rambling. Hey, it's Doug.
Earlier, Democrats putting a new spin on the roll call vote, featuring a DJ and a surprise performance by rapper Lil Jon. The vice president speaking from a packed Milwaukee arena, the same venue where Donald Trump recently accepted the Republican nomination.
We are so honored to be your nominees.
Mr. Trump campaigning in Michigan, leveling some attacks against Harris.
She is so far left that nobody can even imagine.
Back in Chicago, the Democratic Party stars were preparing their rousing endorsement of Vice President Harris. Also overnight, another round of protests leading to arrests outside the arena after a pro-Palestinian group with militant leanings led several hundred demonstrators on an improvised path through the streets of Chicago here, where police had tried to block them. But back here inside the arena tonight, it will be Tim Walz' home state, Minnesota, where a lot of the noise comes from this evening. And also one of the moments that really struck me last night, Savannah, came during Barack Obama's address. The crowd at one point sort of picking up with an organic reaction to some of his words, saying, yes, she can, repeating a line that he first made famous with, yes, we can. A Harris ally telling me, don't be surprised if you hear that on the trail again.
Okay, so let me get Nunya. And Nunya, the comments that former President Obama started saying about all the things that former President Trump was saying about Vice President Harris. Your comments on that?
Well, I mean, this just goes back to his same blueprint. This is typically how he tries to gain voters. He plays into the racism that already exists. He didn't create it. It was already there. So he just benefits from it. So he plays this whole game where he acts like he he doesn't know that she's a black woman and says that she did it later. A ridiculous assertion. And then when he starts talking about policy, it's always generalized statements and things that are going to be the best, better, or better than you can believe. But there's never any actual data to support what he says, or he lies about things that he hasn't accomplished and steals other people's accomplishment. He tried to take the insulin development that the Biden group came up with a few years ago. He tried to take credit for that. And like going back to the black jobs comment, which is why Michelle said it. And you can see how a slow racist mind works, to where a response to him making a racist comment in the dumb racist mind, like some people on this panel, they think that person started the situation. No, that would be you, you red.
No, that'd be you. You're the racist. You're only racist. You and Todd are the racist.
That's why you refuse.
I'm not a racist.
That's
I'm
why
a realist.
You refuse to use sunblock. No, you're a dumb racist. That's who you always been.
No, I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Democrat.
Excuse me,
you're a dumb
Nunya,
racist.
Can you finish your point? Nunya,
I
you were
can,
doing
but
really
he
good.
interrupted, so I thought I'd.
Well, how about Harris stole no tip, taxes for tips? How about Harris stole from Trump?
You red-faced maggot. I told you that already. Be quiet.
You didn't tell me anything.
When I finish, you'll get a chance to speak.
Got to move on.
Until then, be quiet. You hear me, boy? Okay.
Shut up, asshole.
So finishing my point. So the Trump campaign, ultimately, they spent a lot of money on Biden opposition research, a lot of money on Biden signage, and you get this at the 11th hour change where Kamala comes in, and they just haven't been able to recover. It's been L after L after L. His vice president pick is not good. The polls are showing he's losing. She's surging. They had two events the other night, and they had both houses packed to capacity, while he's still doing these same outdoor routines where fans are actually leaving early after they pick up their $75 from Craigslist. They seem to want to leave. They don't want to hear any more of this Trump nonsense. The true diehards.
That's so stupid. That is so stupid. Oh, you're so stupid. Because you're so stupid. You're so stupid.
Right.
You are so stupid.
AC, shut him up.
Accomplishment.
Stop talking to me like that, Cousin Todd. You're going to stop that right now.
I mean, I don't know how you accomplished that.
Him up.
I know what he's doing. I can't control. He's not a puppet. No one has hands in the back of his head or back, Todd.
I'm just giving nods what he gives me.
I'm just giving nods.
I'm just giving nods what he gives me, Stacey.
Cousin Todd.
Suntan lotion is very important.
Shut up, boy.
Suntan lotion.
Cousin Todd.
Okay.
This is not Jerry Springer show. We're not doing that. Cousin Todd, do you want to comment on how the president and the former president and first lady closed out, and they did say something. They said the race is going to be very close, and think nobody's perfect. People are human. Michelle Obama said people are human. No one's perfect.
Right.
And things may come out. Was she hinting that something is going to come out? Is she saying that something's going to come out about either one of the Democratic candidates?
Always come out. Things. Something stupid, something minuscule. What they're not going to say is he's got 4 different wives and he's cheated on every one of them. Or they're not going to say he was accused of rape and was found guilty and had to pay millions of dollars to the victim. Nothing like that.
Or they grabbed him by the...
Yeah, nothing like that.
Whoa.
It's going to be little nothing things that Keith and Stephen will try to make something out of. For example, he was horrible. He was a fraud. He never went to the service. He never went in the military and was only there for 24 years. So these kinds of
nobody said that.
These kinds of crazy things are what Michelle is talking about. Stupid stuff like that, they're going to try and make something out of. And so that's what she was saying. Beware of that. Don't fall for it. Keep moving.
with a
Okay.
ponytail.
I'm going to keep moving. That's a perfect
Yeah.
segue to keep moving into what this article is in thehill.com. Getz scores big win over a McCarthy candidate. They had a primary this past Tuesday. This article is by Julia Mueller. Primaries in Florida dealt a blow to former Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Let me make that bigger. Revenge tour against the Republicans who voted to oust him last year and teed up a potential sleeper Senate race between incumbent Rick Scott and former Rep. Debbie Muscarell Mukersell Powell. Sorry. Votes were also cast in Alaska and Wyoming primaries to set key November matchups in the battle for control of Congress. The contests came as thousands of Democrats gathered in Chicago. The fact that Getz solidified his primary race says what, Stephen?
That he was more popular than his opponent, and he got more votes, and people liked him more. That's what I think.
So Getz was able to fend off, if you look at this, he was able to fend off primary challenger in the latest race to put a spotlight on the tensions within the House GOP after McCarthy got put out last year. He beat Aaron Dimmock, a retired naval officer and political newcomer supported by McCarthy and his allies in the GOP race for his seat in Florida's 1st congressional district. What does that say, Keith, about changing? They're trying to change McCarthy, regardless of him being Republican. He's trying to change the makeup, really, I think, of Congress once the presidential election is over. Because if a newcomer were to come in and beat Gates for the primary, a Democrat could come in and beat that candidate for the general election, which could be detrimental to a Republican-led House. Keith, you're on mute, Keith.
Who knows? Who knows what they have planned or in store? I don't know. You know, these are all kinds of games are being played on both sides when it comes to, you know, getting the advantage over an election. So it's hard to tell what they're going to do. A lot of deception is involved. And I also want to make a comment about the fact that Trump, you notice that Trump, he called Harris far left. Now, he then explained, you didn't play the rest of that, but he then explained why he believed she was far left, you know. And so I just wanted to say that the other side, you notice that she never addresses when those claims that she's far left or that she's a progressive. And neither does Nas. Nas never addresses why we disagree with him and why we're against what he's talking about. He never goes into the policies of Trump being
because you don't read, and if we try to discuss policy, you won't have the ammunition.
They can't win on policy. That's why, Nas, you can't win on policy. You know that.
Read.
We're not stupid.
Read. So why would you even?
Yeah, we can't read. Oh God.
I know.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. We can't read. Thank you, Keith. We can't read.
Where's that voice
So
coming?
stupid. God, you're stupid.
So this redneck with a ponytail.
Yeah, you're like a 4-year-old. You can't read. You eat your boogers. You stupid. You're horrible, man. You're just no good for this show. Hey, this is a show where we show our faces. You know.
I'm wondering.
Okay, we're gonna
You're no
stop.
good for the show.
How stupid you
We're
are.
not
You're
gonna
no
do.
good for the
We're not gonna do the Jerry Springer thing. We're just gonna talk about the
Well,
issues
you
and the
invited
policy.
trailer trash. We're gonna have trailer trash behavior.
See, that's what he is, man. He's a punk.
Yeah, you
He's
are.
just a punk.
You are redneck ponytail.
You are a punk.
That's
See,
what you
Stacey?
are. Always have been.
All right,
I'm
we're gonna move
proud.
on.
I'm proud. I'm the opposite
I
of
don't
anything
care
you are,
what
because
you're
you're just a
proud of.
punk. Because
You're
you know what? I'll call you a punk to your
redneck.
face. I'll call you a
No, you
punk to your
won't.
face,
I'll
and you
beat
go
your
piss your
ass.
pants.
Ain't you on
You go
blood
piss your
thinners, boy?
pants.
I'll beat the piss
You
out
go
you, boy.
piss your
I'll
pants.
beat the piss out you.
All
Understand
right. All right.
that. Yeah.
All right.
You better take your
Reuters.com.
medication.
Okay, thank you. Please look at the article. Reuters.com Antony Blinken wraps up Middle East trip with a Gaza deal still not done, by Humera Pamuk. It's still not done. Blinken says the deal needs to get done, as you can see on the screen. He says negotiations seek Gaza ceasefire and return of hostages. Sisi warns of conflict expanding in the region, which we really don't need. And Hamas criticizes the U.S. for bridging a proposal. Gaps still remain over border security and Israel's military presence. Who wants to talk to that first? Nanya?
No, Keith, he wanted to discuss policy. So let's hear Keith's ability to discuss this policy.
Well, you go first.
No, sir.
Go ahead,
You wanted
Keith.
to discuss policy. Here we go.
Go ahead, sir.
No, go ahead, Keith. You go.
All right. What
Y'all want me to go?
Stacey, ask the
Go
question.
ahead,
Do it.
Stephen. Go ahead, Stephen.
Last week I said Iran will not retaliate, and if they were going to retaliate, they probably would have done it by now. There's no way they're going to do it, because they don't have the power to stand up against us and Israel together. And is it going to be but can Blinken do anything to make Netanyahu change what he's going to do? Absolutely not. He can't, because he's being precise. He's doing what he can. He's already shown Iran, any of your leaders, any of your people we want, we're going to smoke you just like that. So this thing is going to be handled. It's going to be taken care of. What hostages we can get back. But this has to be taken care of, because the Hamas is not going to make a deal. This is not going to make it. What would they have to do is finish the job. We all need to get behind Israel, and it'll all be done, and everybody will be happy, because they've got to be wiped out completely. But we have people in this country that are for Hamas. It makes me ill. I'm sure Nas is for Hamas. I'm not sure. I don't put.
You look ill. You look.
You know what I'm saying is it really does make me ill, because those people want to kill. Those people want to kill us, Stacey. And we have people in this country that's for Hamas.
So Keith, now you comment.
Well, again, all I can say is that Israel is going to win. That's the best I can say, because all these so-called negotiations are really just a waste of time. There will not be a negotiation met. There will when they say peace and safety, then sudden destruction will come upon them. And that the Lord himself will deal with that. And Israel has an ally. That's God. They just don't understand that. They don't understand.
They don't believe in God. That's why they don't understand.
Okay. Thank you. Nanya.
So these people who wanted to discuss policy, you asked them a question about Antony Blinken. They didn't bring in the players who were discussing this matter. They didn't discuss the history of this matter. So clearly they're not fit to discuss policy, and they should keep their mouths shut.
They're not going to do it.
Time.
They're not going to do anything. We said that.
Be quiet for a second. Possum face. So Antony Blinken, the problem he has is he's not seen as an honest arbiter. It's really difficult to get somebody to do negotiations when you're seen as somebody who is kind of one-sided. Like if you had a debate between Keith and Cousin Todd, and somebody let me be the moderator, Keith would say, well, Nas is going to agree with Cousin Todd. He's not going to give me a fair hearing. So that's what you're seeing with these discussions. And recently, China has actually stepped up and held negotiations between the two. And this could be a huge sea change if they're able to be the ones who come up with a provision for a ceasefire, because at that point, we kind of lose standing over there, because we've traditionally been the ones to sit down and go back to the Oslo peace accords. We've been the one to sit down and get these things done. So if China hammers this out, that's a huge loss of face for us on the global stage. But yeah, the war continues. Genocide is happening. If you go to social media, some of the sick things we see, like it's some of the worst World War II stuff you'll ever see. Talking about children being blown up, people carrying their family remains in a bag. Like, yeah, this is a really terrible situation. And sadly, they just gave him 50 billion more. So it's going to continue.
What do you care about children?
Sir, I read the details, and that's why.
What do you care about children?
Policy. You don't read.
What do you care about children?
I care about every person on earth except Stephen.
What do you care about children?
I care about everybody. You asked
Yeah.
a question, I gave you an answer. And then you asked again. Like, are you slow? Like, what's going
Yeah,
on?
right.
So,
That-
cousin Todd,
Did you find the
if
T-shirt?
you, cousin Todd, cousin
Yes,
Todd,
yes, yes.
Israel strike kills 7 members of the same family as Blinken lands to make fresh push for a truce. However, he was unable to do that, and they were
Mhm.
unable to come to any sort of agreement.
Right.
Nas was just saying that now China is showing up as a moderator, as trying to
Right.
make peace, which will really will push America out the way. Your comments on that?
Well, it'll make America look weak and as if we don't know what we're doing, which is not far from the truth because you cannot continue to back, as Keith was saying, supporting Israel. You can't just keep giving Israel money and Israel not do what you tell them to do. Remember, Keith said, let churches give them money. But he didn't think America should give Israel money. So I'm inclined to say America should give money with stipulations where you cannot just do anything you want to do. For example, every president since Ronald Reagan was telling Israel to stop building on Palestinian land. They ignored that, and they continue to do that even to this day. So, also, Benjamin Netanyahu was paying Hamas, Stephen. He was paying Hamas for years, up until they bombed them. Why was he doing that? Benjamin Netanyahu never wanted a two-state solution and still doesn't. And so we don't need to get involved in this war. We don't need to keep supplying Putin with weapons of war. There needs to be a ceasefire.
What are you talking about? Supply Putin with weapons of war.
I mean, not Putin, Benjamin Netanyahu. We should
We'll
not.
we'll
keep
give you a
supplying-
pass. We'll give you a pass.
We should not keep supplying him with weapons and money.
Okay.
It should be a ceasefire, and the ceasefire will come when we stop sending weapons.
That's not true. Israel's going to defend themselves. They don't need us to send weapons. They're going to defend themselves because they have to.
Okay.
Shut
They're not the aggressor.
God.
They're not the aggressor.
Clearly, they're the aggressor.
This is our
They have
round
a
Clearly,
table.
they're not. If they wanted to commit genocide, there'd be
We
none of
just
them
asked
left.
you to speak policy. You had none.
There would be none
Now
of them
you wanna
left.
come up- They've tried many times, sir. You don't know what
They
you're
have not tried to commit genocide. If there would be nobody left in Gaza, if they tried to do that,
Okay,
they're
thank you. We're
pinpointing
gonna
their
look
attack.
at our screen.
You're a
Please look at the
liar.
screen. This is our round table.
You're a dumb,
Russia
raggedy
rapidly
You're a
woman.
liar.
approaching key Ukraine city despite a setback. Now, Ukraine made a surprise drone attack on Russia and blew up a bridge, and then they sent a drone over to Moscow. What happens next with this Ukrainian-Russian interaction? Plus, what's going on in Israel? This is our roundtable. Let's start with Keith, then Stephen, then Nunya, then Cousin Todd.
This
Keith.
should be good. I'm sure Keith has been.
Well, I
eating.
don't even know why Russia and Ukraine are really fighting.
There
Yeah.
you go.
This whole
The
thing
man who wants to discuss
it
politics.
started when Biden got in. So I just think that Trump, if we can get Trump in office, I think that this can be resolved. I really do. But I don't know. I don't know for sure, but I do think that it's possible that he can get this resolved because there's no reason. I mean, this it's beyond comprehension that they would be even fighting in the first place.
Right.
I mean, crazy. I just don't get it. I mean, maybe Nas can inspire us because, and this is my last chance to say this. I want to say that Nas demonstrates exactly what the Democrat Party demonstrates: hiding, just like Kamala Harris, hiding.
Yeah. Just like Joe Biden.
Yeah, they're all hiding. They don't want to. This is like the evil that they are, that they represent. They don't.
They won't show their face
about
because they're
it.
ashamed of themselves.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that the people listening to this show don't make a comment about that. They never make a comment about it.
And when you say the people listening to the show, are you referring to me?
No, I'm referring to the person who
Listeners.
always. Who is that guy that always?
The person who took you for the clown you are and commented.
Yeah, that person. Yeah, he calls
The
me.
crowd didn't like you.
He calls Steven. He criticizes me and Steven, but he never says anything
Red
about
noses.
this
clowns.
ghost, the ghost in the machine.
Noses.
This guy's
Okay,
a ghost
thank
in
you.
the machine.
Thank you. So let me show you
Somehow
the
the ghost
screen.
keeps beating you up.
Let me show you the screen. The head of the city military administration urged the community there to evacuate without delay. The enemy is rapidly approaching to the outskirts of the city in Ukraine, he said Thursday. So this is proof that Moscow has not relented in its attack on other parts of Ukraine, despite Kyiv's success incursion across the border over the past week. Stephen.
It's a war. Like Keith, you said everything. We're brothers. We're blood brothers. You know it. You said everything that I was gonna say.
Same IQ. Same IQ.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We're about 178, give or take. All right. And if like you said, if Trump wins, Keith, if Trump wins, it's over. Yeah. But Keith, I don't understand this either. And we know, but based on what Trump did when he was president, he's gonna go, let's stop this right now. Let's talk about it, because you know what? It's horrible. The Ukrainian people and the Russian fighter, everybody that's involved. It's a shame that all these people's got to be involved in the war machine that we profit from. And if Aguna was on this show, he would know that he's told me he's agreed. He said, yeah, we profit from the war machine. This is good for the economy. It's good for everybody. His money comes back to us. You know, it's not good for. It's not good for the people. It's not good for the Russian people who have to fight. It's not good for the Ukrainian people. We've lost 1 million people by now. Trump goes in there. Trump is anti-war. That's why I love him. I'm anti-war. Keith is anti-war. We're pro-life. We don't want people to die.
Y'all just said y'all want Israel to kill everybody.
No, I said I don't want them to kill everybody. I want them to kill Hamas. But they hide behind babies and children, like you hide behind whatever you're hiding, so we can't see you. You're the same as Hamas. But that's what they do. They hide. But Israel is the best. Compared to World War II, it's insane. There's nowhere you can.
We were talking about Russia, not Israel. Thank you.
Right, but he said that he compared Israel earlier.
Nanya, go ahead, Nanya.
To World War II, he compared Israel to World War II, and that's a shame because still people like you hate Israel and you want Israel to die. Hamas wants every Israeli to die. Israel doesn't want everybody to die. Hamas and Iran want them to die. That's what the problem is. You have to understand. They want every Israeli to die. These
suntan lotion is important. Right?
You want people. You want.
Go ahead,
Face redneck.
Ed.
That's what I'm gonna call you, Santa Claus. Anyway, so Santa Claus is finished with his long, raggedy, I guess you could call that speech. So
you're the ghost of Christmas past. Because we can't see you.
You done?
We can't see you. We can't see you. You're like a ninja. Hey, you know what? You're my ninja. Hey, Vanilla Naj, you
bomb on stage.
Go ahead, Nanya.
On stage, he's telling jokes. Nobody's laughing. Ooh, it's tough. So anyway, moving on to the actual topic again. These people
Keith is laughing.
Policy, and when we got to step and fetch it to laugh at anything. Look at it. The wind blows through his ears and you hear a sound. There's a reason for that. So anyway, going back to the actual topic. War. I don't want to take this light. I don't want to take this lightly because what I'm about to say is like really dire. Like a lot of Ukrainians are gonna die, man. Like this is gonna be a sad situation. Pick up any historical book you want to, and somebody tells you that they're invading Russia. How does that typically end? Like if you really want to talk about the vastness of Russia and how once your little team gets in there, at a certain point they're gonna be stopped. And once Russia starts pushing back again, we're gonna see a lot more carnage and a lot more death on the Ukrainian side. This is really sad. As far as like the funding of the war, of course, we're against that. Nobody wants the Defense Department to be the majority of U.S. spending. It's a terrible thing, but that's our reality right now. And again, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of game. Democrats believe that in order to fight China, you have to separate them from Russia and fight them one-on-one or an extended version of the Cold War. The Republicans believe that China is going to be so powerful that you have to fight them now while you have the advantage, and they're not as much worried about Russia. Those are the two different belief systems the two parties are operating on, and you see them in policy, where when Trump was in office and Putin was talking about going into Georgia and some of these other places, Trump really had nothing to say, didn't push back too hard. And then on the other side, you saw them, the Dems, going after Russia because, again, in their mind, they think the two have to be separated. They see them as two major powers, and as a bloc, they could be a problem.
What are you talking about? Russia invaded when Obama was president and when Biden was president, not when Trump was president. What do you mean? Oh, Trump didn't do it. What are you talking about? Trump's actions were better than Obama and better than Biden. Nobody invaded Ukraine when Trump was president. What are you talking about? You're talking about stupid.
His word better.
What are you talking about?
Oh, Donald Trump said something negative about Georgia. He
Go ahead, Tanya.
It was better.
Oh, dumb.
It was better. Take your tobacco skull or whatever it is and shove it in inside of your mouth and shut up. You sloppy Joe eating trailer trash redneck. Shut up. And Keith, if I jump on you, boy.
Your lies are gonna put you in hell, boy.
Cousin Todd.
Cousin
Todd.
Your lies are gonna put you.
Shut up.
Cousin Todd.
Okay.
Really put some pain on you, boy.
No,
Come on.
it's not finished.
I'll come down to Atlanta.
We don't have any time. We don't have any time. Go ahead, Cousin Todd.
Cousin Todd in, man. I don't want to take up all the time.
Okay, well, you were making good points, but you were cut off by
yeah, trailer
Steven.
trash do that, man. He don't know how to behave.
Yeah, but the reason we're involved in it is because I have to repeat
In
this.
which one?
Your question was about Putin, right?
Right.
And the carnage that's coming for Ukraine.
Correct.
Well, the reason we're involved in it is because we told Ukraine that if you did not make any nuclear weapons, we would back you. And so that's what we're doing. We have to keep our word, or else we're like infidels. So that's what we're doing, keeping our word that will protect you.
No.
If you don't make nuclear weapons. Now, we told other countries that, like India, we said, don't make it, and India said, bump you. I don't trust you. We're making our nuclear weapons.
Right.
So that's what, so Ukraine.
India, Pakistan.
So
is Russia using nuclear weapons against Ukraine right now? And nothing you said made any sense, Todd.
Steven, this is his round table.
And so, but this is, and Donald Trump knows his voters. He knows his supporters. He knows how empty they are. And this is why he said, that doesn't make any sense. And so what we're doing is what we promised we would do. So keeping our word now that you're a Trump supporter is crazy. You don't keep your word. So anyway, we're keeping our word, which is what we're supposed to do. And Putin is a murderous KGB agent. And of course, he would be lovers with Donald Trump. I mean, friends with Donald Trump. And so Donald Trump could snap his finger and tell him not to do it.
Right. This comic book has understanding of the world. Like, are you that stupid?
It's amazing.
And Trump just tell him to stop it.
Yeah.
Based on his past actions, that's what happened.
It's silly.
None of those actions ever happened.
Yeah, it did.
And the reason
North Korea.
The first
North
time
Korea.
He was impeached.
Ain't Russia, fool?
Because of Ukraine, him threatening Ukraine. We won't give you anything.
We're out of time.
Okay.
To our first responders in our communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you.
And this is, I'm going to cut you off just for a minute. This is what Tea Partiers taught. They had a class on just what Stephen did. So then Stacy, cuckoo. I mean, we're out of time. You can't finish your point.
This man is insane.
Crazy.
Take your
I'm not a tea
medicine.
partier.
Look at that.
Okay, thank
Take
you.
your
We
medicine,
are out of
Todd.
time. To our first
your medicine,
responders in
old
our
man.
communities, you make our lives livable. Thank you to the women and men of the U.S. military for all that you do and sacrificing your lives so that we are free to say whatever we choose on this show. We are forever indebted. On behalf of Aguna, the voice of reason, Keith, the constitutional conservative, Stephen, the independent
psychopath.
thinker, and my cousin Todd. Thank you, Nanya. We really appreciate you picking up the slack since Aguna obviously couldn't make it. We
He
truly
was the
appreciate
slack.
your
That doesn't even
insight.
make sense as a joke. Get better.
It doesn't.
We'll talk to you last
You were the
week.
slack.
Good night.
Because you
better.
are
Get
slack.
better at making it.
Oh,
Because you
I
are
forgot.
slack. You're so slack you can't even show your face. That's ridiculous. That is real punk. That's real. You can talk all you want behind a curtain. What are you, the Wizard of Oz? You the Wizard of Oz? You're a punk. You're just a punk. You can say anything you want about me.
Blood pressure go up every
So anything you want about.
Okay, so
blood
excuse me.
pressure whenever I come around here, you puppet. That's what I do.
So, like I was saying, I forgot to say, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Sporlitiks. Please check out our post at sporlitiks.com on TikTok. Check us out on Instagram, Twitch, X, and Stephanie Stallworth's The Flow Television Network. We'll see you next week. Now you can go ahead and say whatever you wanted to say. But Cousin Todd, didn't you want to talk about the Gold Star families and former President Trump's comments about the military? And the Gold Star father said that Trump has an inherent contempt for those who serve in uniform.
Yeah, I had mentioned that for the agenda, but obviously we didn't get to it, and I think that was deliberate. Anyway, yeah, Donald Trump doesn't know anything about service, so therefore.
Deliberate. You're saying I don't want to talk about that? We didn't have time. We ran out of time, Cousin Todd. Now I'm bringing it up.
I agree
It's
with
not
Todd.
deliberate.
I thought somebody brought it up during the show. I'm sure I heard it during the show.
No.
Didn't somebody say something about it? Yeah, somebody said something about it.
That's the drugs. That's the drugs.
No, Keith's agreeing with me. Keith
What happened was
He always agrees with you. He's stepping fetching.
when he wants to be right, he agrees with me.
well now,
See how that
And I
man
do the
talk
same
about
with
you right
him.
in your face?
Hmm?
Shame.
I don't know how you talking, Mama.
Shame, Keith.
It's hard when I can't see your face. I have hard of hearing it. I read lips.
I know you're getting old. You're getting old. You're hard of hearing. You don't know how
But
to
you
use
can be
suntan
you can be
lotion.
hard of hearing at 5 years old,
Cousin
man.
Todd,
your
go
medicine.
ahead. Cousin
Take your
Todd.
medicine, boy.
I
Cousin
was just
Todd.
going to say that Trump doesn't have any idea of what it is to serve on anything that doesn't benefit himself. So therefore, that's why he calls those servicemen and women suckers and losers. And he was at Arlington Cemetery, and he was talking to, I forget who it was. It may have been Kelly. And Kelly was telling him his son is on row 16. And Donald Trump was being sincere when he said, I mean, what's in it for them? I understand that because...
What's in it for who? The people who died?
Yes. What's in it for these people who served in the military? What's in it for them? What do they get?
Right. So he's anti-war. He says, why do we have to have these people die?
Okay.
That's what he's anti-war. That's what he's saying.
Oh,
I understand what you're saying, Todd, but all you do is misread what he's saying because you don't want to believe he's a good person.
Bye-bye.
You don't want to believe he's a good person. But he is a good person. Hey, Keith, I made him run away like a scared little girl. All you gotta do is bring their bullshit out, man. That's all you gotta do. Bring their bullshit out because they can't. They got little tricks that they do, little trickery, dickery, dot. That's all you got. Keith,
You
you
know
just got to
Where
be
is it
honest.
at?